Dominic, how are you today? Good. How many people have a job? I can't see, but any of y'all got a boss? I know it wasn't on before. Any of y'all got? How many of you love your boss? I can't see any hands and the lights are on. How many of y'all have ever had a boss at a different job that you would not go back to because of that boss? Yeah, that's every hand, right? So 80% of people quit their boss, not their job. Did you know that? Now, I don't know if that statistic is actually correct, but I know if you asked yourself, oh yeah, that guy sucked, right? So I help managers become better humans. I know you're thinking, it's not possible. But some of them, they can. They can actually become better humans. And there's actually, look, here's the deal. There's way more than 7 bad habits. Would you agree that your boss, of all the bad bosses you've had, there's tons of things that they do that piss you off, demotivate, de-energize, all the fun things that they're supposed to do, right? Now, how many of you guys own a company that have people that manage people for you? Anybody in there? Anybody want to be in that position? You want to own a company where you have managers that ruin it? I mean, make you have to hire motivational speakers to come in and fix them. Anyway, look, as leaders, you're going to piss people off. As leaders, if you're going to lead, one of the challenges of leadership is that you have to take people in the direction they're not naturally going to go. Would you agree with that? That's part of being a leader. You're out in front. So in my career, I started out in the Marine Corps. Hoorah! Hoorah! Tomorrow, actually Saturday's Veterans Day. Tomorrow is the Marine Corps' birthday. We'll talk about that tomorrow. 242 years strong. And what I can tell you about leaders is it doesn't always work out the way you want it to. Would you agree with that? So, when you run into trouble, I'm going to give you the short version, plus I'll ask you to take your phone out. I'll give you the full report. It's several pages longer than my book. To talk about this when you want the details about it, but I'll tell you this. There's a lot more than 7 bad habits for every leader, and there's more than one fix. But I talk about one very simple fix for all the things that leaders do, right? And when I normally train in corporations. I train managers. And in this one particular corporation, I trained over 1,000 managers, from entry-level managers all the way up to the VPs. And when people leave my workshop, they do not leave with a binder. They leave with a plan. They take and they actually have to create a plan to put into action what they learned in the 5 days of training, something of all the things they learned, and they walk away with it to practice. Because training does not solve problems. How many people know that? Trainers, raise your hand. Training does not solve problems. It supports the solution to your problems. Conditioning solves your problems. Doug and I talked about this a lot. As a matter of fact, have you noticed that Doug, where's my picture? Yeah, I have a beard in my picture. Doug and I switched. Anyway, so the one simple fix, I'll tell you the one simple fix. You can just imagine all the problems you have with your leaders and your bosses, right? But one thing you can do as an example to them, because sometimes you're not the leader, but you can lead by example regardless. Would you agree with that? The one simple fix is to ask for help. You see, most leaders think that it's a sign of weakness to ask for help, when in fact, it's a sign of strength. When you know your job well enough to know there's stuff you don't know, especially as much as the people who actually do the job on a day-to-day basis. Would you agree with that? Those of you that have bosses that don't know anything about what you do. That if they just asked you for your opinion, wouldn't it make life better at work? Yes or no? Yeah. Of course it would. And as a leader, you can always ask for help. What do you think? What can I do? Now, I'll tell you something I learned from one of my mentors, which is a guy named Marshall Goldsmith. Anybody know who Marshall Goldsmith is? Only the #1 leadership coach in the world. Coaches almost all, at some point, more of the Fortune 100 CEOs than anyone on the planet. And when you ask for help, I'm going to tell you what you can exactly do if you want to become a better leader. And that means you can insert the word person. If you want to leave here with a strategy, here's the strategy. You ready for the question? You want to know how to ask for help and then what to do about it? Yeah? Okay, great, I'll tell you. You can ask people for help in this particular way, and he calls it feed forward. I call it just not being an asshole. try it either way. So if you're their manager, leader, boss, coworker, friend, spouse, lover, spouse's love, either way, whatever you are, you can say, hey, there are 2 things you can tell me to do that I can get better at being X. Hey, I want to be a better friend. Can you tell me 2 things that I can do to improve? Can everybody do that? Turn to the person next to me and try it, and just say, take turns, don't do it at the same time, it'd be weird. Hey, I want to be a better boss. There's 2 things you can tell me to do to be more effective. Do that right now. Turn to the person next to you and ask them the question. Can you tell me 2 things I can do to be better? There's a lot of speaking going on. Okay, switch if you haven't switched. I'll give it another 30 seconds. All right. Acknowledge your partner. Give a big clap, give a round of applause. Acknowledge your partner. You're thanking them and you're shutting everybody else up. You're thanking them and you're shutting everybody else up. Thank you very much. Now, let me ask you a question. Those of you that heard the response, so if I ask you, hey, will you tell me 2 things I can do to be a better speaker? Whatever they said, there's only one appropriate response. I want to know if anybody heard it. Which was? Thank you. If you said, well, I don't think that's really good advice, blah, 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 what did you just do to the feedback that you just asked for? You undermined it. That's the a-hole in you that just came out so naturally and diminishes the trust that you just tried to build, the humanity you just tried to create. If you say anything but the 2 words, thank you, you're diminishing the relationship. And by the way, leadership, about anything else, is all about relationship. It's all about relationship. And my students will always, inevitably, every class I've done in the last 20 years, somebody says, well, you're in the military, or was, I'm not in there now. People just have to do what you tell them to do. I'm like, yeah, they do. Yeah, tell them, Uniform Code of Military Justice. I can put somebody in jail for touching me as an officer. They can put me in a grave by shooting me with their guns. We learned that lesson in Vietnam. We sent a lot of leaders to combat without the training, the skills, the knowledge, the ability to meet people and greet people and learn to have them work together, and they were put in the grave. Because in the military, they have guns. They may not put a cover on your TPS report, your biggest problem. They can hurt you as a leader, not just damage your profitability like you do now. Learning to ask for help is that critical skill. Now, I'm going to give you one more skill, because I only got 6 minutes. Of all those 1,000 people, I didn't do the math exactly. I kind of figured it out long ago. When they left with their plan, over 60% of those people left, of all the things I taught and how to coach and communicate more effectively, over 60% of the people left that class with a plan to listen better, because they realized, I don't listen very well. How many people here know that they could be a better listener? Let me say that again, because somebody wasn't listening. How many of y'all know you can actually be a better listener? Yeah, right? So I was in a program learning how to be a better listener. After I graduated this 6-month particular program, being a better listener, it was a sales program. I spent a year and a half coaching the program and being in the program. And after that year and a half, almost 2 years, Doug can attest to this, the best I could really do was just pretend to listen. But I'll teach you how to do it right now, because I got really good at it. So the first thing you got to do to listen is you got to stop talking. Would you agree? That's a good start. Stop talking. Then you actually have to hear what the person is saying, the words they're saying, because you're not listening if you're, what do we listen to instead of to what they're saying? You just heard it. That little voice in your head. You're thinking, what little voice is he talking about? Oh, that one. It's got different, I have a committee. You have one, I have several. You listen to that little voice in your head. Can you turn the volume down? You can't turn it off, but can you turn the volume down and actually hear what they're saying? And then if you can really understand what they're saying, and I'm talking basic language here, right? Basic communication skills. Once you get to that part, the receiver of a communication, take a breath. I had a friend of mine tell me a great thing. He keeps a bottle of water with him. He actually takes a sip of water. Because it gives you a little time between stimulus and what? Response. Then, your next question or your next statement should not be what you want to say, which most people do, right? Most people, that's the static in your head. That's what came through right there. That's how hard it is to turn the volume down. Most people don't take a step, take a breath, take a pause, and uncover hidden meanings. Uncover hidden. When people say what they say to you, they never mean what they say. There we go. People never say what they mean. We don't have time to go into it, but trust me. So uncover that hidden meaning. Here's a great question you can ask. If the first thing somebody says something, you say, how do you mean? Did you say it? What do you mean by that? Tell me more about that. Say, well, what does that resonate with you? And then you can paraphrase back to what they say. It's a better active listening statement. Would you agree with that? And if you can't remember any of that I just said, remember the acronym. Shut up. Stop talking. Hear what they have to say. Understand what they're trying to say. Take a breath. Uncover the hidden meaning. Then paraphrase it back to make sure you got it the way they intended it. Or just shut up. Shutting up works for me when I can. Those of you that know me go, he shuts up? I do. And it was last night we're doing our thing here, and we're trying to get the room set up, and I'm like, Eric's like, listen. I'm like, Eric, you got a room full of speakers. Nobody knows how to listen. They're all speakers. But if you really want to double your sales and double your income and double your effectiveness, double your results, you got to listen more. Would you agree? But we don't. It's not natural. It takes practice. And the truth about habits, and this is the Habitude Warrior Conference, and I teach this. Doug and I have been working on this for years, and Doug doesn't even remember saying this to me. He says, yeah, it takes 21 days to create a habit, but your old habits are always ready to go. They're standing by like the reserves you never wanted to pay for. They are ready to go. So don't beat yourself up. They're already triggered. Those habits are triggered. So I'd like to take your phone out real quick. I'll give you a little bit of this information if you want it. I'm not going to sell you anything. I just want to give you the little 7 bad habits of ridiculously ineffective leaders with one simple fix. The whole report has everything in it. Take out your phone, dial this number. It's 660, text 660-4-results. And I had to write the number down because I can't remember it either. 4-737-85. I should be able to remember that. 737-84, the number 4, 737-858. Just type the word report. 6 area code 660 473. How about this? 473 7858. I said it like not a phone number. It's 4 results. 660. I know. I've only been in the phone business. 660 473 7858. Text the word result. It'll ask for your name and email if you don't give it to me. And then I'll email you the report. And if you don't, you got my number. You can text me or call me. Text the word result to 660. I'm sorry, text the word report. God, this is hard. Nobody's listening. Text the word report to the phone number 660 for results, which is 473-7858. 660. That's the number. I know, it's weird. I'm just going to get a different number. It would work, but I said it right. I know. Text the word report to 660. I'm listening. 473-7858. report. Or damn you, Dominic. We're not doing it. Let me ask you a question. Is this something you can practice immediately, if not sooner? Is this something you will practice immediately, if not sooner? I wish you well with it. You will learn more by listening than you will speaking any day of the week. Thank you very much. Report to 660 for results. I'm done. Thank you very much. Where's my MC to bring up the next speaker? I appreciate you, people. Thank you.